Alright, so this is going to be a video on competitive settings. I'm going to go through my settings and explain each one individually on, the purpose behind why I have it set as what it is. Alright, so for window mode, I highly recommend to use full screen, as using windowed full screen and windowed, they both get forced VSync on by Windows. So I would make sure that it's full screen, just because then it's a lot more responsive and a lot smoother. I think that was probably the biggest change I've made in my settings. And then display resolution, that's preference. Frame rate limit, once again, it's pretty much preference. I just have it at 240, so on my main menu it doesn't go over 240 and use more power than it has to. And then 3D resolution, make sure that's 100%. Just leave it at 100% unless you really need to lower it for a few extra frames. But having it at 100% makes everything look a lot sharper. And for view distance, I've heard that there's not that big of a difference in terms of, competitive play, but I just leave it at epic. I might go down to far just to see how it affects my frame rate, but I just have it at epic at the moment. And for shadows, I have that off because that makes the insides of buildings a lot brighter, and it also helps give you a pretty decent frame rate increase. For anti-aliasing, I'd definitely keep that off because it makes it a lot sharper. Having anti-aliasing on just makes everything look a lot more blurry. And textures, it doesn't really matter. I just have it high because my graphics card can handle it. But if you have a low-end computer, then you can turn it down if you want. And then effects, just leave that as low. That's for like gunshots and explosions and stuff, I'm pretty sure. Just leave that at low for more stable frame rate. And then post-processing, leave that at low because that adds lens flares and other stuff that's unnecessary. VSync, obviously turn that off, and motion blur obviously off also. And then show FPS, that's preference if you want to see your FPS or not. So if you have a good computer, these are the exact settings I would use. Because these are the settings I use. Otherwise, if you have a lower end computer, you can change view distance to far or even medium. And then also lower your textures down if you need to. But otherwise, if you have a good computer, put your view distance to epic and your textures to high. Alright, then for this tab, put your language to whatever you want. Matchmaking region, I'd set that to whatever has the lowest ping. I wouldn't use auto, because I like to know what region I'm actually connecting to. So just put that as whatever's, the lower number. And then mouse sensitivity, this is all preference. I might make a video on finding a sensitivity that's comfortable for you, but it's complete preference. Just find what you like and stick with it. And invert view, I don't know why you'd use that. Share mode, if you want that on or off, doesn't matter. HUD scale, I have it as 0.9 just because it makes everything look a lot smaller and nicer. It doesn't take up as much screen space. Show spectator, whatever. Control options, toggle sprint, I have it off. Sprinkles are loading off. Tap to search, interact. I don't know what this is. Put it on though. Toggle targeting off. It's hold instead of toggle. Auto equip better items. I don't even know what that does. Aim assist. That's for controller. Add mode aim assist for controller. Reset building choice. Don't know what that does. Turbo building on. Turbo building, keep that on because with the most recent update, turbo building is really good. With holding down turbo build, it's equivalent to clicking 20 times a second, so if you can't click faster than 20 times a second, leave it on, which 99% of people can't, so I just leave it on. If you can, then you can turn it off if you want to. Alright, then auto material change, leave that on. There's no point not to have it. It just saves you if you run out of wood and you need to switch to stone, it'll automatically do it. Controller auto run, I don't use the controllers, so whatever. Auto open doors and auto pick up weapons. These two are new. I'm not exactly sure what they do. I haven't tried them out yet, so I'm not sure if they're useful or not. Feedback, vibration, don't have controller. Cord replays on. Cord large stream replays is for 50v50 and other limited time modes. So I turn that on when I'm recording cinematics and stuff, but I have it off by default. And for shadow play highlights, I don't have shadow play, so just leave that off. Brightness, I have it at 0.6. Makes everything a lot brighter. You can have it higher if you want, or lower. Just depends on what you like. I think with 0.6, it's the perfect amount. Allows me to see people without it being too bright. And audio, it's preference. Audio quality high or low, I don't think there's much of a difference, but you can play with it, see what you like. Yeah, push talk. It's all preference. Color correction. If you're colorblind, then you can use this, but I have it off. I do kind of like this one because it makes everything a bit easier to see, in my opinion. These little llamas make them a bit more easier to see than just having it off. So I might test out using this. I'm not sure exactly what it changes in game. Yeah, just see which one looks best for you. You can try it out if you want. Personally, I think this looks pretty good, but I don't know, I might try it. For now, I'm just gonna leave it off. Alright, then keybinds. This is preference also. My traps have it as T. And then wall is Q, floor is C, stairs is F, X is roof. I have left alt as my building in it. Inventory is tab, map is G. I just make sure all your keybinds are like on the left side of your keyboard by your WASD, just so they're easier for your hand to reach. But otherwise, it's pretty much complete preference. And for controller mode, if you have a controller, I heard that Builder Pro is like the best. I don't have a controller, so. And then yeah, that's pretty much it for in-game settings. Now I'll show you my Radeon settings for my graphics card. Alright, then for my AMD settings, go to display, go to your main monitor, click color, and color temperature, brightness, and hue are all default. Contrast, I boosted to 125, and saturation is 140. And then go to gaming and global settings. And for these, I'm pretty sure the main thing that I changed was anisotropic filtering. Change that to 16x. That makes everything a bit sharper. So, and then everything else, I'm pretty sure is just default. And then yeah, that's pretty much my settings. If you have any suggestions for anything better or any changes I should make, then leave them in the comments. Otherwise, yeah.